I'm finally revealing the exact angles and the creative system that we use to scale our D2C e-commerce brand to over 100K per month. And we've already done over 500,000 in sales in the last 90 days. We only launched this brand in January. I've been posting about it on LinkedIn and it's been getting quite a lot of traction, but people keep asking me, like, what's a brand? What's the brand? But the question you should be asking is, well, what's the strategy? How are you actually doing that? How are you testing and scaling ad sets to that degree? And that's what I want to break down here. So a couple of things, like the first thing is, if you are a brand doing, between 50 to 100K a month, like, you absolutely need to be implementing creative testing strategy if the goal is to scale. And that's exactly what we're doing. So we are an agency. I've been posting on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, doing videos explaining, like, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to be doing, this is how you test, because that's what we're seeing doing it for our clients. But then I just got to the point, I was like, why don't we just do this for ourselves? Like, what is the point in having all this skill set in this machine of LiveLike Media if we're not going to utilize it to scale our own brand, which is exactly what we did. Now, we ran out of stock on our main SKU, so that's something that I'm sorting. Never really did product before. I've always been a marketer, but it's extremely exciting. However, whatever the product may be, you implement this strategy and you too can also scale to whatever real numbers that you want based on your ops. So a couple of notes, like, we're doing this profitably, obviously. Like, I don't have that kind of money to be throwing at ads. We're also not implementing any complicated marketing campaigns at all. This is super simple, right up to date. There's no organic social. I think we have like 2,000 Instagram followers now, and that's simply just because of the ads volume. And there's about 6 posts in there. We're doing no organic, with no fancy email flows. In fact, we only just got our email set up right now because I would say we've tested this and now we believe that this is a serious brand that we can build. Now we're putting in emails. Now we're going to maybe put some extra effort into organic socials and things like that. No SEO, obviously. Let's break it down. Let's reveal exactly what we did. Some of the core key things that we need to understand first is our avatar. I'm going to show you ours in a second. You need to choose your angles. So I'll reveal our angles in this because this is what everyone keeps asking me. I'm going to show you ones that worked and the ones that didn't work, how we figured out which ones was working and which ones wasn't, how we even figured out which angles to do. I want to talk on creative diversification because that's, again, what our agency system encourages, is creative diversification across UGC, statics, different awareness levels of creative, all that kind of thing. I'm going to break that down. And then testing the variations. So what iterations and variations we ran based on what we were seeing in the account. So again, like, this is my usual system. We just ran it for our own brand. So first of all, the primary avatar, and by the way, it's not 100% female product. It's male or female. It's just the most receptive is female 35 to 65 plus USA. We also have some ads in the EU, but primarily USA. And this woman is, this is important because we're not just going, oh, woman 35 USA, right? Or woman 50 USA. We're going deeper. This person is considering aging, and she's considering everything that comes with aging. She's interested in these new age holistic health opportunities and products, and she might be a little bit skeptical about big pharma or health gurus. Okay, so these are key points about who my person is, because this is the sort of content that I can put out for them. They may be noticing like joint pains, slower recovery when they wake up in the morning. They might be a little bit sore, and we're touching on those things. And they obviously will have money to spend, and they're interested in investing in their health so that they can be pain-free in the future. This is the kind of person who maybe has grandkids on the way, or knows that that's something that's coming in their life, and they want to prepare for that, and they want to be as healthy as possible. So this is really important. It's not just what age are you, where do you live, what's your gender. It's these things, these psychological triggers, because our ads touch on every single thing I just mentioned there. And I'm going to show you the ads as well. So the angles then, we went into this with our research, did a lot of research, understood our avatar as much as possible, Reddit feeds. I have another video on research which you can go and watch, and I also have a full research breakdown booklet you can get. But for now, I'll just explain that we tested 4 main angles that we believe were going to be great for this. So improved sleep, reduced pain, anti-aging or slowing down aging, and reducing inflammation. Now, personally, my own self, I feel like I'm an experienced marketer. I've been doing this for 10 years. I backed sleep. For me, sleep was the one that was going to drive this, and I was going to build an entire brand around sleep. Turns out sleep was not the most powerful angle after we tested it. The 2 most powerful ones were pain and inflammation, which in hindsight probably makes the most amount of sense because those are the things that you most urgently want to fix and you're most urgently going to invest into. So pain is a feeling. Pain is, you're waking up and you don't feel good. Inflammation is a measurable metric. You can actually measure inflammation. There's markers, blood work, things like that can suggest inflammation. So we can talk about that from a scientific approach. So yes, we ran a bunch of ads across all of these angles and some others, but the two clear winners were pain and inflammation. So pain reduction and management, so these are some of the ads then that we started to introduce under these angles. And by the way, these angles were individual ad sets. I'm going to break down our structure also. So this is my full process that you're getting behind the scenes of exactly what we're doing, how we're thinking about this in order to scale to this level. So we're like, okay, we got pain. So pain reduction and pain management are the obvious ones. We're having ads in there about testimonials, like here's what I was before, here's how I am after. We're doing comparisons to traditional meds. So what is the alternative solution? Basically slamming the other solution and then introducing us as the new solution. We're opposing big pharma or health gurus. So we're actually jumping onto that narrative about the distrust with big pharma. We're being careful what we're saying because we're not trying to make any real medical claims, but we are highlighting our distrust with big pharma. Typo there, apologies. We're highlighting some of the biomedical studies. So the great thing about this product is there's 3,000 studies and there's 27 studies actually on the biomedical journal website about this product. So we're just going into them one after another, pulling absolute facts, pulling undisputed data, educating our customer on what that is and how that can help them. We're introducing new holistic practices as well. So this particular product, like it's tapping into maybe some of that new age holistic healing that not too many people are 100% sure whether it works or not. But whenever we're introducing that and backing it with the facts and the data, it's absolutely printing. We're also doing a couple of ads where we actually show YouTube videos of health talks and we're showing snippets of other people that are discussing this. And I'll talk about that in another section. And yeah, there's loads of stuff we're doing on pain there. Information, it's fairly similar, just coming at it at a different angle. Educating people on what inflammation is. We're talking about those blood markers. We're talking about like how energy moves through the body, things like that. We have some podcast content in there from other and interview, not just podcasts and interviews. We're really detailing that scientific approach again, coming into the biomedical journal studies, and we're quoting and citing that material from research. So we're basically saying this is what inflammation is, this is how it exists, and this is how you remove it. Fact. You can then do that too by getting this product. Okay, so that's our angles. Clear test. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 3, 1, pain and inflammation. Creative diversification then. So again, just a little bit deeper into our actual ads that we were running. So lots of UGC testimonials with creators inside of our demographic, and we did range the ages from like mid-20s right up to 55 plus. And yeah, we had a whole bunch of stuff in there. So I was this, now I'm that, and here's why. I heard all these typos here, but here's what the big health gurus don't want you to know: how to reduce pain with X, how to use. The how to use was a really, really good angle for an ad. Like it was a great hook. Like here's how to use your product to feel better, to reduce inflammation, to improve your sleep, all that kind of thing. We actually filmed YouTube videos on our phone. So we watched a YouTube video, we filmed it on our phone, and we used extracts of that with call to action. So I'm going to explain that in just a second. And same with podcasts, and then a whole bunch of graphics. Like we were throwing loads of graphics out because we can, if you're trying to find an angle and this is some absolute alpha here, so pay attention to this, right? If you're trying to test an angle, you're not 100% sure if that angle is going to work, but you want to test it. To save you having to get a sample of your product over to a creator, writing a whole brief, writing a script, paying that creator probably hundreds and hundreds of dollars or pounds to film that, maybe editing it yourself and then getting it live and throw an ad spend at it to test it. You can test with graphics in Canva. You can take a winning template, of which we have loads. Just reach out to me. I have literally hundreds and hundreds of winning templates. Insert your own product into those images, insert your USPs, and then test your headlines. And you can just, in Canva, duplicate 5, 10 different versions, changing your headline, focusing on these things up here with the avatar, like focusing on the reasons why this person wants to buy this product. And that's a really simple test. And you could have that test live inside your ad account quicker than you could even ship a product to your creator. So think about that when you're testing and when you want speed. And we call it like speed to feed, like how quickly can we get something live to test? And again, inside graphics, there's so many different variations, but USP focused, category, industry facts, offer focused, testimonial reviews. I also have a full concept sheet, which is also a resource that we have for people. And yeah, long form educational content. So interestingly, because of the demographic and because of the type of product, we were able to get ad content that's over 2 minutes, in some cases like 2 minutes 30 in length, performing exceptionally well. I'm talking like 40% hook rates, 20% hold rates, like really, really good quality content that's being watched. Now, the note here is, okay, we are an agency. I understand we have resource, so we can do all this in-house. We can usually get from 0 to 1 really, really quickly and efficiently, but it is possible for you to do that too. So you might be thinking there, going, that's a lot of output. I also have to manage X, Y, and Z. Maybe this isn't even your full-time thing, whatever. Maybe you're an agency and you've got a whole bunch of clients. It does seem like a lot, but again, this is a structured approach. We have what we call like creative efficiency built into our system. So from one interaction with potentially one creator or with one angle, how many different variations of ads can we get out there? And that's something that I teach quite a lot as well. Just a little note on this, when you're trying to find content, you can find content in YouTube. This is also complete alpha, so maybe just go and do this, but you can go into YouTube and you can search Creative Commons. Creative Commons, you can search whatever your industry is, whatever your niche is, and then Creative Commons. And Creative Commons is a license that anyone can really use. So you can grab that piece of content, a snippet of that, and throw it into your ad. In terms of creative diversification, we had 877 ads tested across 283,000 ad spend. Okay, amazing. That's all super clear. As for variations and iterations, this is important, but again, I'm not breaking down every single one of those 877 ads, but the best examples that I can show you here were the one that reduced the CPA the most. So that's your goal, to reduce CPA, cost per acquisition, or CAC, to try and buy customers as cheaply as possible so you can spend as much on ads as possible. So the biggest movement of the needle there, after 18K of ad spend on a particular ad, we took the best performing ad, which was, we took the hook from that, which was focused on sleep, and we changed the hook, H2, to pain. So this seems too simple to be true, but this is exactly what happened. So we took the hook off of our sleep ad, and we literally replaced the hook, but it was focusing on pain. So the call out is no longer about sleep. The call out is now about reducing pain. And that reduced our CPA on that ad from 70 quid down to 62, and it's continuing to fall. By the way, the break even for us is 1.2x, which is another really important conversation to have around operations and product, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm the creative guy. And it continues to drop here. So how to ad H1, after spending 18 grand, got 258 purchases, and it made us 30 grand back at 1.6, 69.97, 70 quid CPA. After just replacing that and adding hook 2, we got a £62 cost per acquisition, 62.80. And this is the last 14 days. It's actually dropped down again to 57. So really, really profitable ad for us. And that is simply doing a hook cut. So here's my video, cut the first 3 seconds off of that, replace it with something more relevant and more specific to my angle. And that's a simple test. Our simple campaign structure. Now I'm not a media buyer. I'm the creative guy, but obviously we do a lot of media buying. I usually leave this up to our experts, but this is the way it's all set up. And I know that people have different ways of doing different things, and they argue. I just don't even get involved in that conversation. But our setup was a CBO, and we just had a whole bunch of ad sets targeting those different things that I've mentioned, those different angles. And inside of the angle, we're just chucking loads and loads of creative. The how-to ad, we had the how-to as an angle, but it was how-to sleep, and then we had another one was how-to pain. And then, we're adding more creative based on the results that we're seeing and based on the best performers. And of course, because it's a CBO, it's spending against the best ad set. So that's how we identified that pain and inflammation was winning versus sleep and anti-aging. And we just increased the budget consistently on the campaign. I think we're spending between 5 and 6K a day at one point. Okay. Loads of information there. I really know that was quite a lot, but what can you actually do to go ahead and get hopefully similar results, or at least start moving the needle forward more? You need to start testing angles. That's the bottom line. You need to figure out what the angle is that people can buy your product before you start piling on heaps of volume. That's the key. That's the most important thing that I want to drive home from this video. And then make variations to the best performers. Those variations can be your volume. Again, I can see how many typos are in this stuff, but I just was too excited to get this out to you. And then next thing that you can do as an actual action is you can book a call with me if you want me to actually build your creative output system for you. So we'll just build all of this like what we did. all this here can be built for you. And we just do that every single month for a bunch of our clients. That's our primary business. That's our agency. And to be honest with you, it's the agency is our primary gig. We only built the brand because we were like, well, we feel like we have all the tools. We're telling these other brand owners, do this, do that. Why don't we just do it ourselves? We put our money where our mouth is. We are now walking the walk as well as talking the talk, and we've got skin in the game. So I think that was a really valuable exercise for us to also understand you guys as brand owners, what can actually happen, like product. Like I was never really clued in on product, but now I'm learning more and more. So that's one thing you can do. Just enter our agency. We'll handle everything for you from creative strategy right up to scaling your output. And the other thing that you can do if you're not ready to work with an agency, let's say you're below, I would say about 30K per month in revenue, you can just join our consultancy group. It's basically what I would consider a small group PT, but for building ads. And I jump in a call every single week. There's a whole heap of content like this. Everything that I mentioned here, like, how to do hook variations, like how to cut those up, how to produce all this content. We have our full concept board where you can just go and copy our concepts that have worked before. All this stuff is inside of that Creatives for Brands consulting group, and you can get access to that too. So I'll put a link to both of those things. Either book a call with me if you want help building this out yourself, or you want us to do it for you. And depending on your brand and where you're at, we would definitely be open to working together. So I hope you find this video valuable. I know a lot of people were looking for something like this, where it was just like, show me. People are messaging me, show me what you're doing. But most people were ultimately just saying, what's the product? And no, I didn't reveal the product. I wasn't going to do that, but I'm revealing the angle. So I hope that was great information, and I'll see you in another video.